Hello and welcome to Lamplight Crochet. My name is Laura. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this headband. I call it my rose trellis headband because it seems to me like roses are climbing up a trellis as you make it. So I have made it out of Red Heart Super Saver variegated 4-ply medium worsted weight yarn. You just need to look for the medium worsted weight yarn, and you can use any color you want. And I have used a G hook in a 4.25 millimeter size, and you'll need a yarn needle and a sharp pair of scissors, and this project should go pretty quick. It will end in about a 21-inch size, which is an average head size for a band. And now let's begin. Okay, now we're ready to begin our rose trellis headband. This one measures longer than 21 inches, but 21 inches is the average. So we're going to do about 48 rows. And when you reach 48 rows, I want you to measure your headband around your head to see if you like how it fits. And you can stop right there, or you can go on if you want. So in order to do that, I would add a tape measure to my list of supplies. So in order to begin this headband, we need to make some chains. So first of all, we're going to place our yarn on the hook by making a slip knot. So we place our slip knot on the hook right there, just like that. We're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so now all we need are 9 single crochet across the chain to the end. We're going to put our very first single crochet in the second chain from the hook. The very first chain from the hook is the one that the yarn is pulling through. So that's how we count the chains from the hook. So watch where your yarn pulls through, and that is the first chain. The second one, of course, is right next to it. So we want to place our hook into the top, underneath the very top strand there. Wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through both. That is single crochet number 1. We're going to go into the next chain, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, and pull through both. Okay, so we're going to continue just like that to the very end of the row, and I'll meet you back when we've made 9 at the end of the row. Okay, we've reached the end of row 2 with our 9 single crochet. So we are not going to chain yet. We're going to go ahead and turn the piece from right to left, and then we're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3, and from there we are going to start our pattern. So we've chained up 3. We're going to skip the first crochet, or the first single crochet, and then we're going to place our hook into the next one and do a single crochet there. We'll have a total of 4 loops across this row by the time we're finished. That's loop number 1. Chain 3 more. Skip the next single crochet, go into the next one, place your hook underneath, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through, chain 3 more, skip the next stitch, go into the next one, pull through, wrap around, pull through, 1, 2, 3, last one here. We go into the very last single crochet of the row, and sometimes you have to turn it over to see that back loop. Pull it through, wrap around, pull all the way through, and we've completed row 3. Now we are going to turn. First of all, before we turn, let's chain 3. 1, 2, 3. On this row, we're going to chain 3 beforehand. Turn, and then we're going to make 1 single crochet in the middle of that loop. Do another 3 chains, single crochet into the next loop. See how we're creating our pattern? 3 more chains, single crochet into the middle of the next loop, 3 chains, single crochet into the middle of the next loop. Okay, and so we're going to continue like that. Chain 3, So the only time that we do not chain 3 at the end of our row is at the end of row 2. But every other row after that, we're going to chain 3, turn from right to left, and just continue by making a single crochet in the middle of the loop. And so we are going to continue this pattern until we've reached about 48 rows. And I want you to measure it on your head at that point. You might need to make 50. It just depends on how tight you stitch or how big you want it. All right, so we'll meet you back at the end of 21 inches of this pattern. We'll see you there. Okay, I've reached the very end of my headband here, and I have a total of 60 rows in the pattern that I showed you. That does not count the first 2 rows that we started with, the chain and the single crochet. So in total, that would be 62 rows for the headband, and mine measures at, let's measure this real quick so you'll see, I wanted mine to be right at 20 inches, and it is, maybe just a tiny bit over. You have to take into account that the headband is going to stretch a little bit when you put it on, so you don't want to crochet right up to the exact inch that you want. Okay, now I also, meanwhile, in the middle of making this video, I made a cuff bracelet to match. So this is my cuff bracelet. It is identical to the headband, identical stitch, identical amount of chains to begin with, and single crochets, and then continuing the pattern around. And I wanted to show you on this, because it's much smaller and easier, how to connect the ends. Now, first of all, we have to remember that there is a wrong and a right side to this project. So I have this sitting on the right side here. Okay, you want to check yours and make sure that when you bend it around, you have the right size exposed. All right, so we're going to connect these sides by lining them up and doing what we call a whip stitch. A whip stitch a lot of times is visible. In this case, I've tried to make it as invisible as possible. So the way we do the whip stitch is we would bring up the yarn down in one end and connect the 2 ends, and we would go back and forth, down through one side, up through the next, sew that through, down through one side, up through the next, and just continue that until we get to the very end. And you'll have to match that up really well and make sure that in the very end that you bring these sides over and sew those so that they're flush together. You don't want to leave the sides hanging out. All right, so I want you to join me in just a minute or two here to take a look at what these look like on. I'm going to go ahead and connect this headband and finish up my cuff, and we'll see what they look like on. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so here we have the finished headband. I've whip stitched together, and the wristband as well, so it's a nice matching set. If you've enjoyed watching this tutorial, then please click the subscribe button that is located below the video box, and stay tuned for more awesome projects. Thanks for joining me.